day, all. I thought this week I would take you to the fun flea market. I happen to be off Cape Cod proper today because I have a lot of family things going on, so I happen to be in the area because I had to run and pick some things up. And whilst here, I thought I'm going to hop over to the flea market. This place is only open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And as you can see in the car park, it's kind of like a boot sale a bit, like a trunk sale. They have all kinds of things people sell out of the back of the car, but inside is a bunch of vendors. But just to give an idea of the good prices you can find here, look at this really beautiful wooden cabinet with glass is only $50. So I thought we'd just hop in, and I've never taken you here, I don't think, but you can see it's an interesting mix of you'll find nice antiques, interesting vintage pieces, and all kinds of odds and ends. You have to treat it much like a yard sale or a tag sale or even a rummage sale. Kind of a charity shop feeling as well. I thought this was funny. Of course, I love all things rabbits, but I think this was just an alcohol. Used to be probably a whiskey or some sort of alcohol bottle. I just thought it was kind of funny. But I'm just going to take you through. I'll talk a bit, and maybe I'll even be quiet a bit and let music play, and you can kind of have a browse through all the fun junk and antiques. That's $45. Of course, that's a new piece. But still, that's not a bad price. You can find things like old windows, interior things, old fireplace mantles, things like that, as well as all sorts of books, jewelry. So it's just kind of a fun little place to have a browse. It's very, very dense, though, with things. And straight away, I see sweet little blue and white cups. And of course, in that traditional willow pattern, which I love. It's always the easiest to find. And of course, I mix all blue and white together. But what's interesting, like, see, these could possibly be from the 80s. But see, that's an interesting shape with that blue willow pattern. And I think these are like $1 or $2 a cup. And of course, if I wanted to buy the whole set, I'm sure I could talk them down to a good price. Because one good thing about a place like this is you will always be able to haggle and get prices. And I don't think I've ever paid what the price was at places like this. So yes, just kinds of all sort of fun things. Now, I'm not looking for anything specific here. However, normally when I come here, I have a very specific goal in mind. Oh, that's really pretty. Oh, that's that... I think that's like mid-century 50s. I love these little jugs like this, these little milk jugs, because they're great for doing floral arrangements in for tea parties and things. But normally when I come here, I have a goal in mind. Like I'm looking for a specific type of thing. I'm looking for a specific color or books or something like that. But today I happen to be in the area, and I thought I'm going to pop in and just have a little browse and take you along with me. This is interesting. This is definitely an antique, $5.95, an old mermaid statue. And this is pretty too. Now see this, oh, this is cute, this little blue and white teapot. Again, probably modern, maybe 80s, but still good for tea, fun for floral arrangements. But this chair, I love this sort of like 17th century style chair. I forget what it's called. But often you'll find reproductions. But because we are in New England, sometimes you find the real 17th century deal. And to find one in a place like this would be really good, because you'd probably pay very little for it. And it looks lovely reupholstered. So, oh, that's a good price, $60 for that concrete pagoda for the garden. Like I said, a mix of things. Sometimes things are overpriced. Sometimes you find a deal on things that are amazingly priced. But maybe I'll just have a little walk around, let some music play, and then I'll interject every so often. So this way you can kind of, well, this is pretty. But again, this is $3.50. They realize this is a good sailboat piece out of copper. But I'll interject here and there, but also play some music so you can feel as if you're having a fun little browse around in a local flea market. Oh, I love the willow pattern when it comes in the other colors. This color, which I actually think is called pink, but it looks very red. But it's pretty to see that basic willow pattern, which I think is pretty old. Oh yes, this is from this Bode collection, showing how it was from the 1790s. However, these plates, which, normally you can get plates here quite cheap, because these are special plates, even though I think they're from the 80s, that were put out representing these particular patterns. This particular seller has them priced fairly high. I think $25 for a plate such as this is a bit high, but again, you could always talk them down. But I'm sure you would find some of these in another vendor maybe at a better price. But, the hunt to find fun things here is part of the joy, I think. It's definitely good. Oh, and here's some pretty milk glass. I love to collect milk glass just because it's so good. It's so neutral. It looks so pretty with flowers in, and it's always a fun thing if you're doing a party. They're just fun to mix and match because they all have that same colorway, but it's a great way to do floral arrangements for any kind of little gathering. And again, a mixture that feels very much like a garage sale or a tag sale or an old rummage sale. But as you're looking through, you may find some little treasures you see that I'm not even noticing. Oh, I love these shoe forms, these cobbler's shoe forms. I have quite a few that I use just as decorative pieces. They look really lovely as bookends stuck into little curio cabinets and such. Those are actually in pretty good condition. I may have to find out the cost of those. Well, let's keep having a little browse, and maybe, again, you'll spot something that catches your eye, or you'll just enjoy the joy of looking about. That was a really pretty old rocking horse. This is the perfect example of this place. This funny sort of neo-antique of this French tram, in contrast to this little Shrek figurine. It's a perfect example of this type of shop. But I really do love having a rummage in a rummage shop. And now see this simple little Victorian chair, which of course was most likely machined even in its own time period, in the Victorian period. It's a good price. You could paint it if you wanted, change the fabric, and not feel too guilty because it isn't too dear. But it still has a lovely shape. It most likely is quite comfortable. And the amount of little tchotchkes. Oh, this is really pretty. However, this will probably be priced higher. Yes, that's $60 because that's a lovely old, probably 19th century copper tea kettle. Often you'll find vendors like this, they'll have a lot of random little inexpensive things, but then when they know they have something good like copper or a well-known artist or something, they are aware of it, and often it'll be marked up. But again, as I said, the hunt is half the fun of a place like this. Oh, this is a pretty print. Boston and Bunker Hill. This is really interesting because, of course, this area, wow, it's only $20. This area is, of course, filled in now and full of buildings. Wow, an old 18th century clock for $250. I wonder how much it would cost to have something like that repaired. And this is funny. Creedy's Vintage Cider. It says Devon, so I'm not sure if it means Devon, UK or Devon in the US. This is a pretty antique lamp, $45. You could keep it in its original style or convert it to electricity. And little blue and white teacups. And again, I almost never film people, but the funny little gentleman, the little vendor at his place, he looks so sweet I couldn't help but just stealing a little peek of him. Well, there's more upstairs, so let's head up there. Here, up on the top of the stairs, looking back at the vastness of this place. And then we'll go through into the interesting hallway full of old images onto the rest of the shop. So let's have a little peek in here and see what we can find. It's pretty much more of the same, but the same being so much varied items. This is such a sweet little corner cabinet. And it's already painted, so you wouldn't feel guilty about painting it yourself, so... Oh, this pair of lamps is sort of nice. I can tell they're new, but although I'm not really looking for lamps any longer, but I should have stopped by here when I was still on the hunt for them. And again, an interesting assortment of appliances for the kitchen, and then old spindle bedsteads. Oh, this is actually pretty, this mid-century pottery. I bet it's hand-painted. That's so pretty. It's like an apple blossom. Lovely. Sometimes I find really interesting art pieces here, and I love this triptych in this cartoon style. It looks like it's probably, I would say, pre-1910s maybe, of a hunt scene. I really love it. I think the person may realize the value of it, though, although it's not too dear, but I really like the, it's $100, but I really like that style. I should look up the artist. This roll-top desk is kind of interesting. Let's see, 500 seems a bit high because I have a feeling it's probably not in the best shape. Yeah, the roll top is totally stuck, and those drawers are upside down. Kind of interesting. Oh, these wooden panels are kind of interesting. I love any kind of carved pieces of wood like this. They're always fun to use in the garden or in my little boathouse studio makeover. These would be cute to put over doorways or as wall hangings. Those are kind of sweet. Sometimes you just have to laugh at the things you find. I thought this painting was hilarious. Oh, this looks like pretty Haviland china. It almost looks like my mother-in-law's set she has from her own mother. Interesting. So as you can see, such an interesting mix of so many funny pieces. Old board games mixed with odd bits of antiques. Oh, I kind of like this hall tree. It's very interesting. It's very large. I like that. Let's see if I'm sure the bench opens. That's really nice. Actually, that's a piece I would consider. And it's not very pricey. Under $100 for that. So you really do have to you really have to hone in what you're looking for, because sometimes you can get lost with so much randomness everywhere. But every so often you see little bits of nice wood peeking out, or I wonder what this looks like. A darling little print. Let's check this out. It's pretty. However, again, it's a little overpriced. And see, I love these old ball jars, but I think $80 is a bit high for those. Maybe because I have so many already. Well, so that was our fun trip to the Cranberry Flea Market. I will definitely take us here again. Well, I hope you enjoyed this odd little excursion, but I just really wanted to stop here. As I said, I was in the area. I had to pick up some things, as I have so many things going on this week, and I was picking up some things for a family member, and I wasn't sure if I'd ever brought you here. I think I'll take you back here when we have a specific thing in mind and see how much fun it is to shop that way. Well, thank you for joining me for today's vlog. I'm back home. I'm filming through the screen door on the back terrace. I'm going to open the door and hope I don't scare away. Not sure if you can see, one of the herons is using the spitting rock this year as one of his main fishing points, but I don't want to scare him. Oh, there he goes. It's been a great week for animal sightings because all the summer animals are starting to come back, as I mentioned last week. And actually, maybe I'll close out with yesterday morning. We have deer and rabbit. Well, we have so many animals here, but the deer, I'm always fighting with the deer to keep my gardens. But they were here yesterday. They were on the long walk, which is the long walkway that's between the upper lawn and the beach that runs to the lower part of the boathouse. And I was sitting in my studio looking out the window and I saw them. So maybe I'll close with the footage I got of them. And of course they then went down on the beach, and I'm not sure if the sound picked up, but the sound of them running along the stones on the beach sounds like horses on a cobble road. Well, thank you for joining me for this week's vlog. I hope you enjoyed our odd little visit to the Cranberry Flea Market. And until next week. And next week will probably also just be a one video on Sunday, just as this is such a busy time for me, but I'm determined to stick with my once a week until I can get settled down into my summer studio for the season. Things are kind of more lined up for the season to get going. And then I might think about sharing more videos per week. So we'll see. But I'm determined, unlike last year where I sort of had to fall on the wayside because things just got so hectic. But this year I thought one video a week during this busy time, and then settling into a different schedule as we get more into summertime. Well, thank you for joining me. And until next week, remember, stay creative. Cheers.